And welcome to the second part of the Ethel Cofie Startup School show for today. So we've been talking about dealing with sales and sales objections. We've done the first 15 minutes. We're doing the last 15 minutes. We went through the framework of how to deal with it. So make sure that you're asking open-ended questions. Make sure you understand the reason why the potential customer is objecting. Make sure you ask a lot of open-ended questions. Make sure that you know what's going on with them, right? You have empathy, you understand from their point of view. Like I said, never answer a question without fully getting the context. So ask more questions than you actually answer. And don't be dismissive of the objections that they have. So we talked about, so in the first part, we talked about objections based on price or budget. And then we're now talking about objections based on your competitors. And also don't forget, I will be giving out the HBR book for whoever answers the question that I have at the end of it. It's only open to the Ghana people, sorry. But we'll try and see if we can find one where we ship you the book over Amazon or something. So anyway, HBR book on emotional intelligence. So one of the objections will be, I can get a cheaper version of your product from somewhere else, from this other competitor. Now, this objection is a variation, right? This sales objection is a variation of the, what do you call it? Of the, we don't have a budget or your competitor is better objection. Look, don't fight your fight about budgets. Don't go into the gutter about price. Talk about value. Always, every time somebody starts talking about budget, go to value, right? Explain to them that what they are getting is even more than what you are being given, right? So if they say, oh, but we can get, I don't know, like I said earlier, there's a cleaning agency that was cheaper, but they just used to really they just didn't clean thoroughly. We now got another cleaning agency that I pay more for, but they use a better quality products, they clean thoroughly, they give us extra days of cleaning. So don't sell on price, don't start to haggle on price, start to haggle on the value that you bring, right? Be very clear, be very clear what the value that the potential customer needs and argue that out instead of fighting the fight for, on price, because there's always going to be somebody cheaper than you. Dear entrepreneurs, honestly, here's a PSA moment. There will always be somebody who's selling a cheaper product. Don't get into the what do you call it, the price fight, because somebody will beat you on experience. If you sell it at $1, somebody will sell it at $0. Sell on value. Sell on value. That's my real belief. Sell on value. Or you're sitting in that sales meeting, or you've called the client and they say, I am happy with your competitor. I'm already with your competitor and I'm happy with them. Okay. Ask a bit more open-ended questions. So again, you're trying to be sneaky to find out if there's something, there might be one little thing that they might not necessarily like about this competitor they're working with. Or they're locked into a 5-year contract, so you can't say anything. At least try and find that out and understand if you can structure your sale or your deal so that they can easily get out of the contract. If they might be truly happy, that's fine. At least you know that they're truly happy with your competitor. At least you know that you can walk away. But you have to ask a bit more questions, be a bit more stealth about it. Try and understand, why are they happy? Actually ask why are they happy, because maybe you can use that for your next client so that the client stays with you. Or there's one that has happened to me a couple of times. You go to a meeting and your competitor says something false about you. So your competitor says your products don't work. Or your competitor says you manufacture let's say you're in manufacturing. Your competitor says, no, you manufacture your products in unhygienic conditions. Maybe it's a food product. honestly, in those situations, look the potential customer in the eye and say, that's not true. Don't badmouth the competitor. Don't say, just say that's not true. And take your time and explain your value and move on. Don't, because what that does is it makes your competitor look desperate. If you and that makes you look like somebody who's more confident. If you don't, then backbite your customers, because some people get really upset and say, "Oh, but they are also bad. They are horrible." Don't do that. Just be clear and say, "Look, this is not true. This is the value we bring. You look more confident. Your competitor looks more desperate." And then there are sales objections. Let's look at sales objections around authority or the ability to buy. So let's talk about that one, right? So you spend 4 or 5 hours in a presentation talking to one person, or you spent a month, email back and forth trying to sell to this person, and then when it comes down to it, they say, "Well, actually, I'm not the person's author. I'm not authorized to sign off this purchase." Now, this is something you should try and find out very, very early in the process. So when you're talking to the clients first, really ask about who makes the buying decision, who signs off on the buying decision, who actually signs off the purchase order, who actually buys. Look, if you're selling a mass market product, it could be that you could be talking to, I don't know, the one person in the home, and then it might be this other person in the home who actually makes the buying decision, right? So be very clear in the beginning. Find out who is the one who actually makes the final buying decision, so that you don't waste a lot of energy on the person who's really not the authorized person. If you've gotten to that point anyway, just ask who it is, and just take your, just go off to that person and try to solve them. So be open, but at the beginning of the sale, please ask, especially when you're selling to businesses. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 people that make the buying decision. Please ask. Or that, "Oh, I can't sell this to my boss, or I can't convince my boss to buy it." That's a really good thing, because then you can support this person, give them sales material, actually coach them, so they can go and get get their boss's approval, right? So I have a sale I'm in the middle of right now, and talking to I think a GM for something, a GM for marketing, and then she said invariably, "Look, I'm not the final authority on this. I cannot make the sale." But I was directed to who could agree on the sale, and said, "Look, this is the person you talk to. This is the person that says yes, we buy. This is the person that says no, we don't buy." So, and so I provided her with everything that she needs in order to go and convince. Sometimes you have to write a couple of white papers, how to convince your boss to buy, I don't know, a customer relationship management system, how to convince your boss to buy IT digital strategy. Write it, give it to them, let them use it, right? So if you do B2B, you have the buyer, the person who's going to use it, and you have the economic buyer, right? So the person who actually has the budget. If he's not convinced, you have to spend a lot of work actually sitting. So maybe the sell it to them.